So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus 2 months later. Now, value is the first thing I think about a couple months later with this device. I can't stop thinking about how, this phone is $300-400 with taxes cheaper, and sometimes they've thrown deals on this getting at $799, much cheaper than the S22 Ultra, but kind of giving you the size and footprint close to that of something like an iPhone 13 Pro Max. So over my past couple months, I just kept thinking how Samsung really hit this one out of the park with value. There are some cons to this phone and some things I don't like I'll talk about later, but overall, it's a pretty good value option. 2 months later, I really appreciated how thin and sleek, how light and beautiful this phone is. I mean, it really is a sleek, beautiful device right here. You cannot really deny that fact. This phone right here is actually lighter than that of the iPhone 13 Pro Max, the Pixel 6 Pro, as well as the iPhone 12 Pro Max from a year ago or so. So definitely one of the lighter, bigger phones you're gonna find on the market. It actually comes in at under 200 grams. So if we put it here on this scale, you'll see right here. Let's see what we get on weight on this. So we're getting 198 on my reading. Samsung lists it at around 195, so mine might be a little bit off. But this phone, for being a 6.6-inch display, it felt pretty light and sleek. Really like that. The ergonomics factor of this device, I think they nailed it. It's big, but it's not like overly heavy or cumbersome. So one of the best large compact phones, not compact, but all phones, you can take them in your pocket. So technically they are all compact, but this phone, for a big phone, just feels good. That's the best way I could describe it. Go feel it out for yourself in the store. You'll see what I'm talking about, and then grab something like a S22 Ultra or a 13 Pro Max. It'll just feel much larger, even though their screen sizes are a hair bigger. Now, I've been loving the minimal bezel on this phone as well. I think Samsung has nailed it here again. The chin and the forehead, there is none of those really, but if you want to look at the bezel here at the bottom, and then you kind of compare it to the top, it looks almost perfectly symmetrical. I really do like that. Even the sides, super thin bezels on here. And I really do appreciate and enjoy the punch hole display. So if I zoom in on the mail truck here, you'll see up here at the top, definitely giving you close to an all screen. Now, if I put that little punch hole inside of a dark area, it looks like you're looking at a full screen display right here. Of course, it does become available. Let me put in a light post. Where's Waldo? It's over there. So definitely you can see that it's getting really close here. I think Samsung should just go off screen already. I think ZTE and some other phones are doing that already, kind of just hiding the camera behind the screen. But overall, really enjoy this minimal bezel. This display, man, just gorgeous. And since I was already talking about the display, let's kind of further elaborate on that. A couple things I liked about it 2 months later. I really appreciate the move to this wider aspect ratio. It's like a 19:9 now. The S21 Plus was at like 21:9, I believe it was 29, something like that. It was a little bit more narrow. And why does this matter? Well, it kind of matters because when you are reading a new article or something like that, something just pops up, what happens is that you end up getting yourself a really nice width here. So when you're reading line to line, it just feels like you got more text, more space on that article or whatever you're reading about. So definitely this phone right here is just more enjoyable to consume media and content on. In addition to that, you do have yourself the ability to use this 120 hertz display and an adaptive refresh rate. You can save some battery with the standard. I've appreciated the smoothness factor of that as well. But one thing I really like about the entire S22 family is a new extra brightness mode, because a lot of people say, well, you get this great brightness rating, but you can't use it. Well, you can use it now, and I constantly was off and on playing around with that. I didn't always have it on because I wanted to save my battery, you know how it goes, but same time I like that I have that option because I don't have to wait to trigger the auto brightness to get that max brightness like on some older Samsung phones. But in that case, you could still put on adaptive brightness, and when you get outdoors, this thing is one of the easiest phones to see in the sunlight. It's even better than the iPhones in the sunlight, not even kidding with you. So overall, whether you are, looking at photos, watching videos, whatever you're doing, let me go ahead and flip that into the auto rotate. This is plenty of screen space to consume media. There's plenty of room for pretty much all that you want to do. But there is only one con, and that's that Samsung actually reduced the resolution to a 1080p panel. Now, for some people, this is not going to matter, but their older phones at this price did have 2K panels. They were on by default at 1080, and some people never turned it on. Maybe that's why they went there. But at the same time, if you do see the pixels per inch on phones, like you get really close and you can see, oh man, that doesn't look as sharp as my 2K Pixel 6 Pro or my 1440p S22 Ultra. If you're that type of person, this phone probably will bother you a little bit. But overall, touch response is very smooth, very good. So the software experience on here has been pretty good. I'm gonna give it about a 9 out of 10. I'm gonna take off a point because I've had some choppy animations here and there. Sometimes the apps can fly a little ugly and stuff like that, but overall, I gotta say it's been pretty solid. I'm pretty happy with it. Now, Samsung is really what you make of it. So you do have all these split screen modes. You have the ability to use DeX on board where you can just plug this in and have your own computer basically from your pocket. Pretty awesome stuff. You have reverse wireless charging, secure folders. You can scan QR codes right from the quick panel up here. You also have a bedtime mode and many more features. It just goes on and on. There's just so much you can do on Samsung. Not only there, go into settings here, scroll down, and this is going to go for any of the S22s. Scroll down here, I believe it's advanced features. You'll find yourself a slew more of features. Go with the S22 Ultra, you get the S Pen. Overall, though, I got to say, I really enjoyed it. It's been smooth. It's been very customizable. And again, it's what you make of it. If you want to theme it out, if you want to customize it, you can do that. You can make this thing look as pretty, or to what some people would say is just depending on how you go ahead and use it. You seen right there, that just little bit slowness sometimes, this stuff annoys me right there. It's got to be quicker than this. But overall, this has been really what you make of it. For me, I keep it pretty simple. I'm not trying to overwhelm myself. I used to play around customization all night, but these days I'm a little bit older now. I'm not old, but like I'm a little bit older, and like I'm not trying to waste my whole day to basically play with routing and all that stuff anymore. So for the average consumer, this has been pretty excellent. The software support, updates, security patches have been coming in very regularly, and overall I think it just performs better than it did 2 months ago. So it's a great time to get it now. Now when it comes to the performance, we're looking at Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 on here. Yeah, 4nm CPU. What else is there to say? What do you expect? It's 2022. It's a premium phone. It's freaking fast. It's not A15 Bionic fast, but it's basically the same thing. Like, what I mean by that is Bionic will win in a benchmark. In reality, Samsung, the animations, you can tweak them to make them look faster. The phone itself performs identical. So what does that mean? That means day to day, whether I'm using this phone or a 13 Pro or a 13 Pro Max or an S22 Ultra or a Pixel 6 Pro, OnePlus 10 Pro, these phones, they all feel the same. In terms of your everyday performance, they're fast, they're solid, and it's really more down to the user experience, the way it feels, the way it looks, the camera, the battery, stuff like that in 2022. Storage on this phone is lame. Yeah, I have 256 gig. That's a ton. I'm not trying to sound like, I don't got a good amount here. I do. But this is the max. The max storage. Now, a lot of people are liking to keep their phone three to 5 years now. This is not enough for some people. Some people need 512 gig, 1 terabyte. They got a lot of stuff in the Samsung cloud or even in, the Samsung ecosystem. They want to store a bunch of movies, a bunch of things, a bunch of photos, thousands of videos. This is going to run out pretty quick. So it's kind of an upsell to the S22 Ultra. I don't like that. So Samsung, give me my SD card back, please, or up the storage capacity levels and don't overcharge for them. Please. Yeah, thank you. That's about all I got to say about the storage. I do like that it has a quick USB-C port, though. That's pretty universal. I do like that. But nah, storage is pretty lame on this one. Not even a terabyte option for it. And this is a premium phone, so pretty weak. Yeah, this also maxes out at 8 gigs of RAM. I don't really see much reloads, though, because that's plenty enough for a Samsung phone. However, it's just kind of cheap that Samsung used to give me on the Plus model 12 gigs of RAM. Yes, some people argue, Nick, bro, you don't need that much RAM on a smartphone. I don't care. I had 12 gigs before. Don't be giving me less for more money. That's just not fair, my guy. Like, I'm the consumer. I'm paying the same top dollars I did for my S10 Plus, and I'm getting less RAM now. So it just don't make sense to me. Give me my 12 gigs of RAM back. So definitely didn't like that about this phone. But overall, that doesn't make me not like the phone. I'm just saying I didn't like that overall. It just feels kind of cheap that they did that. So let's go ahead now and look at the camera here. I'm not going to go over all these specs. There's 50 megapixels, there's 10 megapixels, there's 8K. Let's just put it this way. For the money, you're getting yourself a pro-like camera. So you don't have to go to the S22 Ultra, no, to get yourself an excellent experience and more than the average consumer would probably use. You have pro modes, pro video, single take, night mode, food, panoramic, super slow, slow-mo, hyperlapse, portrait video, a director's view. Not only that, the glorious 8K 24 video that needs a tripod because it's super shaky, but it's still super ridiculously impressive for a phone. Super steady modes, photo modes, portrait modes. This 10 megapixel on the front can be upgraded though. I'm not a super fan of this. I think it's a little too close to the face. You can back it out a little bit, but I would like the standard angle to just be a little bit wider. Front facing camera is a little soft, but I've showed you some samples before. I probably even showed these before, but I just want to go through a couple of them. Here's a Chicago flag right here, made up of Chicago Cubs hats right there. But you can just kind of see the level of quality is fantastic. I mean, how much more do you need out of a smartphone? The sharpness, yeah, Samsung does like to kind of sharpen photos, but I do that anyway in post, so I really like that. Some people probably don't, but if you want a raw photo, you can do that as well. There's me looking out over the city. Definitely, I'm just super happy with the camera. You know, it gives me an overall premium experience. Even night modes are pretty solid. Yeah, you'll introduce a little bit of noise in a night mode photo. It's not perfect. Most smartphones aren't perfect at night, but they're getting far better and they could really light up the situation. So definitely, camera has been great over 2 months on this phone. The battery life for the Samsung Galaxy S22 Plus has been not a dream, but it's been good. I'm pretty happy with it. It easily makes it through the day. You do have power saving modes, but then it kind of turns off the fun stuff like the 120 hertz and things like that. But I easily can get this thing through a full day of usage. No problems whatsoever. If you want to know screen time, I average around 6.5, 7 hours on this phone. Lower the brightness, lower the settings. You can get a little bit more. Blast things, you'll get a little bit less, but it's pretty good nonetheless. 4600 milliamp on board. That's a little bit down from the S21 Plus, but a little bit more efficient CPU means a similar battery life. 45 watt fast charging was available, but I gotta say they need to up the speed because OnePlus blows this phone out of the water in charging speed, as does some other Chinese competitors on the market. I love the various color options that you can get for this phone, including some limited color options. And I gotta say, this in-display fingerprint sensor has been pretty flawless as well. You also have the ability to unlock this phone with your face. I don't have that set up now, but definitely very happy with that as well. And when it comes to reception strength, it has Wi-Fi calling as well as incredible reception strength. You see that right there? There's one bar down, but I never see it much lower than that. This thing has incredible reception on board, great 5G performance, really fast internet on the go. So definitely, I like Samsung options for things like that. You're really gonna love them. Pretty much a 10 out of 10 in that area. Overall, I'm gonna give my final conclusion here. We covered everything about this phone that I really found to notice about it. And I gotta say that 2 months later, I honestly feel like it's a great value. It's a little bit of a boring option because it doesn't really do anything to kind of stand out over anything. It's not a showstopper of a smartphone, but it's a really great one. And it's one that definitely is better than the S21 Plus, but it's not like better than some of the other great options out there. It's just kind of a good option for people that want something that feels a little bit lighter, more compact, large, and don't want to pay S22 Ultra prices. It's a great option in the market. And I think if you're looking for it, just go for it. You're going to be very happy with this phone if this is the type of device you want. One UI 4, you want a Samsung, you want a premium camera, you want good battery life, you want a good size, and you don't want an iPhone. Can't go wrong here. Thumbs up if you found the video helpful, entertaining, and enjoying. If you have an S22 Plus, consider sharing your experience with the community. It helps people to read that stuff when they're doing their research. They can decide if it's for them or not. Subscribe if you haven't already. Nick here. Be sure to be well. Peace.